podcast, new episode, fair warning. I and you may cry during the Gene Hackman Bodycam footage segment. There is something that is so sad in this bodycam footage that was just released. I don't know if we're all going to make it through that segment with dry eyes. Just don't know. Gayle King responds to critics who are mad at her for going into outer space. There's a lot of anger out there. The Kilmer Abrego Garcia situation intensifies today. And of course, Meghan, the idiot Markle, is back on the rundown. All that and more coming up on this episode. I hope everybody is having a great week. Hope your Taco Tuesday was tasty. And I hope you're ready for a Thirsty Thursday, Wednesday episode. And we're talking about Gene Hackman and this body cam footage. Our thanks to the AP for posting this online and allowing us to watch it together, to review it, to give our thoughts, critique it, respond, react, etc., so on and so forth. Let's go to the body cam footage here. Of course, this is Santa Fe. The hacks, as I like to call them. Oh, I don't like this setup. Boy, we really got to change our little, we got to put this. What do you guys like? Like that? Like this? Let's do the big one. Okay. This is sad. So just released today, or just a couple of hours ago, the body cam footage, police showing up. And take a listen to I'm going to cry. I don't like crying in front of people. But I want you to pay attention to the first couple of things the police officers start discussing with each other in regards to the dog, who is relatively close to Gene Hackman's wife's body.
Yeah, right here. He's guarding her.
The dog?
Yeah, AC went up to him. He seems pretty friendly, but... And there's another 10-7 dog around.
So this is from the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office. They show up and they go, the dog is protecting her. And you can see just past that red and green or orange and green blanket right there, just to the left of that is those little doggy ears. These little doggy ears, and he's just laying there next to his mommy, who's been laying there for Lord knows how many days. And he's just, and the cops, and you can tell the female officer whose camera it is, a little concerned, German Shepherd, just kind of sitting there. And the other police officers are like, he's friendly. The other police officer walked by him before. He didn't do anything. Dear Lord, I'm going to fucking cry. Take a listen. Let's start it over again.
Here, he's guarding her.
The dog?
Yeah, AC went up to him. He seems pretty friendly, but...
He's guarding her.
And there's another 10-7 dog around the corner in the kennel.
That looks really weird.
Oh, look at him just laying there, looking, just watching, just looking on.
Is he going to do anything?
AC went in there. You want to go in first?
Yeah.
The female cop, by the way, must have been afraid of dogs. I mean, listen, cops have been through a lot of things. Who knows if she was on a case and a dog attacked her or whatever. It kind of sounds like that, doesn't it? Because she's like, all right, well, what about the dog, though? And so the other officer was like, want me to go in there? And the other officer goes in there and stands kind of like close to the dog. But the dog doesn't move the whole time.
Hey, buddy.
I guess Connell's going to come down as well.
Okay.
Obviously, they blur out Betsy's body there, but you can see if you look up, you can see the mirror, you could see the police officers looking down at her, and it just, it's another moment where, and I have friends that are cops, family that are cops. I know cops went through a rough stretch the last couple of years, but you got to give police officers credit. All of them, first responders, paramedics, firefighters. Like, they just see the worst of society. They see the most horrific things every day. I mean, could you imagine just walking into this house and there's a body on the floor and it's been there for days, and you got to just look at it and assess the situation, like, day in and day out. This is their job. It is such a tough existence to be a police officer anywhere in the world. And they're just like evaluating her, like looking at the dead body. It's those real moments in life that they go through every single day that I never, ever want to be a part of. Hence why I'm an idiot making jokes behind a microphone 3 times a week.
Huh.
So they just kind of, it says that, but look at you, they're probably just sitting there.
Try to open a couple windows if you can, just in case.
Doggy's just sitting there. Look, look how nice, just looking at everybody. Look at the face. Oh my God, look at the face. I'm gonna cry. Just when they look up at you with those eyes, oh my God, I'm gonna buy a dog tomorrow. Just treat it well and promise to never die in front of it. Which, at the rate that I'm eating chicken wings, is a it's a loose promise. It's a shaky promise to begin with. You know, so then they walk around the house and then they go to where Jean is.
Did you guys take photos and stuff?
No, I haven't taken photos yet.
Tough stuff to look at. What's weird is that the house looks like it's in a little bit of a disarray. So it brings me back to, you know, it appears that, again, she passed away. And for about a week or so, 7 days, 5 days, I forget what the coroner said, though, he just wandered around the house. There's other footage that wasn't included in this clip, though, where they do walk around and they see the deceased dog in the cage. That's so super sad. But you could see, like, there's just like clutter and stuff on the table just there behind, you know, right where his body was discovered. And again, I can't imagine just the horrid nature of him not knowing, maybe, you know, because again, he suffered from Alzheimer's or dementia, whatever it was. But him just wandering around and just not knowing what to do, or who knows if he found her, if he knew where she was. You know, I'm sure he was confused. But the poor dogs, I mean, could you imagine them not knowing what's going on? I don't know. How did they eat? Was there food around? You know, they couldn't let the one go. They couldn't help the one in the cage and everything. It's just so tragic and sad. I don't know why the body cam footage was released, by the way. I still, we talked about that, and the fact that his estate, the kids and everything, they sued to keep this secretive, but they still felt the need to put it out. I guess people are still, they're wondering what happened or denying it or whatever. But, the cops went through again. I saw this footage out there of even more of this clip, and they walked through and they were like, let's open the windows. Let's make sure it's not a leak and everything. There was no forced entry. Like, it all was above water, what was originally reported. So, Associated Press had this clip on YouTube. You could obviously search it on Google. There's plenty of places to go take a look and see what happened there if you want to look at it even further. But the little doggy in the beginning, just laying there with Betsy, his best buddy. It's funny, before we lost Rocco, Rocco was like the family dog that we had, but that was my wife's dog. Like, that was my wife's dog. Like, he loved her. When I had my son, he was not interested. When we brought my daughter home, he looked at us like, enough of this shit. Stop bringing these little things into the house. And then they started dropping food. And then he was like, all right, these little annoying things are not so annoying. And he was happy. But all throughout, I mean, he used to come up to me. I used to pet him. We used to lay on the couch and everything. But if my wife walked in the room and sat down, he would abandon me and go right to her. And it's just that sweet bond that you get to form with these beautiful little doggies. And then to see it in that sort of a state is so sad. It's so sad. All right, moving on to Gayle King and the whole slew of new astronauts we have. We haven't talked about this story I don't particularly find it interesting. I would love to know from you in the comments. Why do you think people are obsessed with this whole Blue Origin space flight with Gayle King and Katy Perry? And I don't understand it. People are very angry with them. Like Emily Ratajkowski was like, "This is disgusting. Think about all the money wasted and all the resources." And, says some millionaire, right? Like Emily Ratajkowski is a millionaire, and she's like taking down these people that are just like doing something. I don't understand the hubbub. And here's the other thing that I find really interesting. People seem really upset that it was like 5 women. I don't understand. Like, we really turned from like girl power to fuck those women like in like 2 seconds. I don't know. And Emily Ratajkowski, another woman, is like leading the pack of like taking these women down. Now, listen, do I think it's ridiculous if you like float in outer space for 3 seconds and you call yourself an astronaut? Yeah. But who cares? I mean, it's a fun thing to do. Here's how I look at this. And thank you, Rhonda, for agreeing with me. I love people who agree with me. So let's get that momentum train going. Nobody, not me, not you, let me know if you disagree. Nobody would turn down a trip to outer space ever. If somebody walked up to you and was like, "Hey, you want to float in outer space for 3 minutes?" I don't know anybody who's going, "Nah." Right? I mean, we'll never know. We can simulate what that feeling is like, right? I mean, you jump in the water, you kind of float around, you could kind of imagine what it's like to be without gravitation. But having no gravity, floating, the view, all that stuff together, that must be such an overwhelming, wonderful thing to experience that most of us, 99.999% of us, will never, ever experience. Nobody is turning that down, ever. So I don't understand the critique here of these. And they're like, "Oh, these women." Like, well, it's funny. I criticize Meghan Markle and people right away call me a racist and a sexist just because I criticize a talentless person who's being pushed on us by Hollywood elites to make a profit. I know, I'm crazy, right? That's a genuine critique to me. Just to be like, "Oh, these women." To me, that's the sexist part. Like that. Just okay, because it's 5 women. Like, I don't understand. I feel like that drove a little bit of the rage here. Now, can you be critical of like, okay, these were like 5 really well-off individuals who, because of their friendship with Bezos's new wife, got up there? Okay, you want to be mad at that kind of thing? Okay, it's fine. That's your journey. But I'm not angry at them. I look at people like that and I go, "Oh, good for them." Like, not for nothing, but Gayle King like works her ass off. And you invite a person like Gayle King along on a journey like this so that it could be shared with like everybody. Do I think that Katy Perry staring into the camera with a little flower like that look is weird? Yeah, I do. I think it's a little weird. But okay, I look at that and I go, "Oh, she didn't really enjoy the journey as much as she was just like, let me make sure I got the great Instagram picture." But that's our thing. Well, fine, great. That's how some people live their lives. I don't understand the rage behind all of it. I don't get it. I'm not mad at them. Again, nobody I know would ever turn that down. People are losing their friggin' minds over this trip. And I don't understand it. Now, Gayle King today was like, "Hey, every time Blue Origin or SpaceX or whatever, they go up into outer space, they learn more stuff. There's more data. There's more, and that's, her point was basically like, "Hey, do you enjoy a microwave oven? Thank the space program. Do you enjoy GPS? Thank the space program." Like all these things that we created, because we were trying to beat Russia to the moon, because now we're trying to go to Mars, and all this innovation that comes about from these missions, they don't seem that important, but they are important. It feels terrible with like NASA being like taken down to what it is compared to what it was, and the fact that nobody wants to fund it anymore is sad. But a lot of innovation came from NASA in the 60s, And I still think that a lot of innovation is going to come from space exploration now. I also am such a sappy romantic where I don't want to take away people's ability to dream, and it might sound ridiculous to dream about being an astronaut or dream about outer space or dream about where we're going. But the fact of the matter is always trying to explore new frontiers is a human nature thing. And I think it's important to have that component in our lives. All of us, no matter how ridiculous it is, even knowing that none of us are really going to ever get there. It's nice to dream about, I wonder what that's like. Because I'm 40 too. And, I feel like most of my life is over. But there is this wonderful thought to be like, hey, maybe by the time I'm 60, we'll be boarding, maybe space travel will be a luxurious thing, something that you just go and do like a cruise ship or an airplane ride now, maybe what Gail and all those people did will be a lot more commonplace later on. Who knows? It's nice to think about that though. It's really nice to think about that. Yeah, it's weird flipping out over Meghan Markle. I feel like justified and totally normal. Being upset at the people that went, people are going in outer space every day. Why? Because it's Gayle King. All of a sudden, it's a bad thing. Christella says it was Gail's attitude. Katie sounded like a silly girl, and Bezos' fiance sounded like a phony. Yeah, Bezos' fiance. I don't know a lot about her. Other than I guess she's some kind of a journalist or something, influencer journalist. I think they described her as an influencer journalist or something. I don't know. I don't know. All I know is if she paid for the body and face she has now, it would be a lot more expensive with all those tariffs. You know what I'm saying? I feel like there was a lot imported into her current body, which great. If she's happy with that, good. I did take a great amount of joy in Jeff Bezos falling. I don't know if you saw that, but he was walking around the spaceship when they landed and he fell. That made me chuckle really hard. I enjoyed the heck out of that. I love a good falling video. Bonus points if it's a billionaire who never likes to be embarrassed, I love that kind of shit. That stuff works for me. But I don't get the hubbub over, and again, I see the criticism of Katy Perry looking into the camera, and I thought that was a little weird too. I was okay with people like going, what the fuck is this woman doing here? Yeah, I was fine with that. But overall, I mean, again, nobody I know would turn that down ever. So I can't get upset at those people for taking that trip. And again, I think it's fun when Gayle King does it because it's like, hey, it's something that we all get to kind of share in. Again, most of us are not going to be able to be in that situation. So yeah, great. Why not? Why not? Now, this one woman went beyond, absolutely beyond, because hold on, let me bring this up for you. There's one lady. I want to play this clip for you. It comes from, hold on. How do I? Okay. It goes from people complaining about whatever, them going into space to full on conspiracy theory craziness. Or as I like to call it, JSAPsness, in the nicest way possible. In the nicest way possible. But there's this lady on TikTok, WFF News. And this is what she had to say about their little space journey.
You see it? I mean, do you really see it? This is the patch that all of the ladies wore on their Blue Origin flight to space yesterday. You can even see their names around it: King, Sanchez, Perry. But when you flip it upside down, you see something completely different. Baphomet. That's right. This patch upside down is almost an identical outline of Baphomet, a symbol that often represents Satan. And
Did anybody see that? Because I didn't see it. I didn't see it at all. In fact, I thought when she started this video that she was going to comment on like the 4 faces around a penis-shaped object. That's what I thought that we were, because I was like, oh, this hack. I'm like, oh, she's gonna comment that it's like 4 chicks around a penis. Is that the bit? Like their mouths are close to the penis-shaped thing. And then all of a sudden she's like, flip it upside down and it's Satan. I was like, did not see that. I did not see that level of crazy coming. I didn't see it. Usually you kind of bow out. Like if I can see a bit coming, I keep going. And I was like, oh, big deal. Women and penis. Okay, whatever. And then she was like, it's Satan. I was like, okay, I'm here for this. This brand of crazy is for me. I am here for this. This is what I need to see. I want to hear this crazy asshole describe the rest of this. God love you, WFF News. Thanks for the clip. Appreciate it. Didn't mean to call you a crazy asshole there, but, calls it like I sees it sometimes. You want to hear the rest of what she has to say, right? I mean, how could we not finish this out?
And the flames that are...
Okay, thanks. Paul makes a good point. I thought it was a uterus, too. It could have been a uterus. It could have been the female reproductive organ system. Could have been the male reproductive system, actually, too, now that I take a look at it. Both of those are kind of shaped the same way. Well, I'm talking about when you not when you look at it from the outside, but when you just get the bones and the tubes. Let's just keep going. I feel like we got a little off track here.
Supposed to be coming out of the spaceship, or now the flame on the head. And maybe the star is not in the middle of the forehead, but the star's right here. This isn't the first time that we have found the symbol of the Baphomet by things being...
I love to... here's what I appreciate about conspiracy theory internet personalities. I love that they go, I have a crazy theory. Let me tell it to you. And then let me see if I could link it to something else that has nothing to do with this particular thing. You've got to love that type of determination to show just how crazy one can be.
Mirrored or flipped upside down. Remember the King Charles painting from last year? How when you mirrored it, the middle looked like the Baphomet? Here it is.
Okay. This is what I mean. You, by the way, everybody thinks I'm fucking nuts. Hello. Who took the King Charles painting and went, I wonder what would happen if I mirror this, if I'll see any symbol of the devil. Who did that? Who's got that amount of time? That's what I'd like to know. Who's sitting around all day going, that may look like a painting, but it's a symbol of the devil, and I'm going to get to the bottom of this. Just give me 3 or 4 days, and I'm going to find the devil's mark in here somewhere. I'll tell you what. And then they mirrored it, and then they went, well, let's just turn it into black and white so that the red is not so distracting to finding the devil's symbol. Who the fuck has the time to do these things? As somebody who does a podcast only 3 times a week and spends most of his day just reading and researching, I don't even have the time for this person. Can't have kids. I mean, there's no way. This person, I don't know WFF News, and I want to say WWF News every time I start to say that, but I can tell she doesn't pack school lunches because it's just like they get up, then they need breakfast, then you got to make them the lunch, then take them to the bus, and then, oh my God, they forgot the laptop, so I got to run to the school, drop off the laptop, then you get back, oh, their drink is missing, you got to go back again for the drink. I think that's every day. It's every day, and then they get home, and then you're like, fuck, is it 5 o'clock? Oh my God, no, they get home at 2:30. It's only school. There's no time to find devil symbols in weird paintings. There's no time for that when you have kids. There's no devil seeking time. When you have kids, the kids are the devil. You look at your children, you go, I found the devil right here. I don't have to look outside for it. I don't have to seek out the devil in paintings. There's one staring back at me. I just don't know how people have the time. If you mirror it and you spin it around and you look for the fucking, you make it black and white, you got to turn it black and white. And then you got to squint your eyes. This is like who is the person that created the hamburger that when you squint your eyes you see Steve Harvey? Have you guys seen that on the internet? Who had time to do that? These must be the same people. I don't understand where these people come from with all this time. I don't have 3 seconds to myself all fucking day. And here come these people with, and by the way, Steve Harvey is Steve Harvey to the devil. That's a spectrum right there. That's a leap, You have a nice gentleman who likes to make people laugh, and then the devil. There's no in between. Nobody's like, oh, here's Carrot Top. It's just, I don't know why I chose Carrot Top there. But anyway, she, and by the way,
black and white,
I don't see it.
Easier for you to see.
I don't.
And now when you look at this, it's just too obvious. Let's not pretend that Katy Perry is the queen of symbolism. I had a lot of questions yesterday after the Blue Origin space flight, like why these ladies didn't have to wear helmets into space. But now I want to know about this. Is this just all a big coincidence, or is this symbol done on purpose? As always, I want to know what you think about all of this.
Okay. You want to know what I think? I think you're batshit crazy. That's what I think. I think you need to get a job where you have something that occupies your time. And I love, my favorite part is he goes, it's so obvious. Like, is it? Is it that obvious? I don't know. This is fucking hilarious. That's very funny. And there also might be some truth to that comment from that commenter. For those who are listening, you're going to have to go back and watch on YouTube or on Spotify. Did you know we have a video on Spotify? We do. I actually look a little bit better on Spotify than I do on YouTube. Did you guys know that? It's not true. That's a lie. Don't believe that. It's so obvious that I look better on Spotify than... Now that we see it, isn't it so obvious? Is this a coincidence? I think so. I'm not sure if the college graduate who studied graphic design and got a job and there was like, I don't know, I'll put some faces next to the spaceship they're going up to space in and we'll make a patch out of it, was like, how can I hide the devil symbol in here? I just don't know people. I don't know, because I know graphic designers. Doing podcasts and things, you did a lot of graphics work. You speak to a lot of graphic designers. And I have not met one that is like, what I really love to do is hide devil symbolism in my work. That's really where I like to be. I like Mercury here. Let's get some tinfoil hats for the table. Let's get a little By the way, you know what my favorite thing about this is? Her vote counts just as much as your vote counts. That's my favorite part about America. Her voice is equal to yours in the eyes of voting for our next leaders. And she's out there like, isn't it obvious? I guess so. How could I have missed that? Obvious symbolism. Holy shit. Watch out, everybody. I'm taking a sip of water. Can you see the devil's symbol in my water cup? Oh my gosh. It's right there. Just look at what he's doing. He's flashing us a little devil symbol right now. Can't see it? We'll try and flip it upside down and turn it, invert the colors and mirror them and then swirl them in Photoshop and you'll see it. Okay. You ever run into crazy people like in real life? I just go, oh, yeah, cool. And then slowly move away as fast as possible. That's exactly what I'm going to do to that clip right there. Just slowly move away from it. The devil symbol's on my microphone? Yeah, maybe. Look at this guy. He's got a black microphone and a black cup to represent his evil, dark, black, dead soul. He's a devil worshiper. I see goats flashing by the screen as symbolisms of the devil. Okay. Can't you see it? Isn't it obvious? Yeah. No. Yeah, it is. It is obvious. Thanks for pointing that out. All right, Kilmer Abrego Garcia. Here's what I want to say about this, because Frank and I had quite the lively debate on Monday's episode. Go back and listen to it. It's great. Some of Frank's best work. We had a lively debate about this, and my take on it for this episode is somebody's lying. I know it's a hot take. I should have warned everybody. Buckle up, everybody, because I'm about to spit a hot take your way. There's two sides to this story, and someone's lying. I know. This is why I get paid the big bucks. But today, the Trump administration doubled down on the fact that this guy was an MS-13 gang member. And the district judge who gave the original ruling was like, hey, if you guys don't produce some evidence really soon, I'm going to hold you in criminal contempt, which I've never seen before for a presidential administration. I don't know how that works. I'm not sure anybody knows how that works. But the lawyer said it today. Not Pam Bondi, the new Jen Psaki. I'm going to have to learn her name before the 4 years is up. I didn't learn the last one, and I didn't learn this one's name. But one of these days, I'm going to learn the new White House press secretary's name and stop calling her the new Jen Psaki, because Jen Psaki is the last one that sticks in my mind. And that has nothing to do with them, but more to do with my brain, because I can't remember anything. Because I take lots of gummies. By the way, 420 show this Friday, 8:30. It is going to be a blast. Imbibe, have some cocktails, have some smokes, have some gummies, some chocolates, whatever your thing is. It's Friday. We are going to take copious amounts of mind-altering substances, and we're going to sit down and have a conversation about life, people. That's the 420 show. Make sure you're here for it, okay? Make sure you're here for it. You're not going to want to miss it. Friday, 4/18, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And extra bonus points for the person who finds the devil logo in the 420 show. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. Paul says it's Good Friday. How blasphemous. Well, they didn't say we were going to eat meat on the air. We're not going to do that. It'll be fish. It'll be a Fish Friday and a lot of other things. You know, but no meat. I promise, no meat. There will be no meat. There will be devil symbols, but no meat. Okay, anyway, Kilmer Abrego Garcia. Somebody's lying about this because new Jen Psaki doubled down and was like, it's amazing to me that the American media is protecting a criminal so much. And I'm like, kind of is. And then the media is like, you can't really deport anybody without having some sort of evidence to back up the claims. And I'm like, not a bad point. Not a bad point. Frank convinced me a little bit, came around a little bit on it. Not that I was ever in denial that that what they're doing is right or just, but felt like they can do. Like my whole point from the last episode was legally the administration may be in their rights on this one. And Frank's argument was morally it's wrong, which I cannot argue against the moral part, you know. Now, some people may get upset and say, well, he entered into the country illegally, he's shady background, all that other kind of stuff. And that's fine. However you feel about these things is fine with me. It's a very divisive topic. But overall, it's like, well, can they get away with this or can they not get away with it? And it feels like they can. Until today, when the judge doubled down on it, it was like, hey, I'm going to hold you in criminal contempt if you guys don't produce some results on how you're going to try and get this gentleman back into the States. Now, that being said, a report came out today that doubled down on this guy's MS-13 background. Okay, so people are saying, and again, a lot of people are saying, even the administration said that the evidence was thin about his association with the gang, saying he was wrongly deported. Okay. Now, newly released documents reveal that the rank of Kilmer Abrego Garcia was a Chiqua, and the street name Chele. I'm sure I'm butchering those. I apologize. I can't speak English. You can't expect me to speak a second language of Spanish. When you don't master the first language, it's hard to get the second language. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi shared additional evidence today to support President Trump's claims that Abrego Garcia is a member of the violent international gang MS-13 after cops found him socializing with confirmed MS-13 gang members at a Maryland Home Depot parking lot in March of 2019. Following the March 28th incident in Hyattsville, a past proven and reliable source told a Hyattsville Police Department detective that Abrego Garcia is an active member of MS-13 with the Western Cliques, according to the gang field interview sheet shared on X. I could show you the sheet. Doesn't mean you're not going to be impressed by it. The confidential source further advised that Abrego Garcia carried the rank of Chihuahua and the moniker Chele. Officers also noted that the illegal immigrants clothing a Chicago Bulls hat and hoodie with rolls of money covering the eyes, ears, and mouth of the presidents on different denominations is indicative of the Hispanic gang culture. The report states the meaning of the clothing is to represent see no evil, hear no evil, say no evil. The Bulls hat Abrego Garcia was wearing also had less to do with the sports team and more about internal happenings within the Latin gang, cops claimed, according to the report. Wearing the Chicago Bulls hat represents that they are a member in good standing with MS-13. I don't get how they pick those things. You know, is that a press release? Do you send out a tweet in the gang newsletter? Hey, everybody, let's go get those Bulls hats so we know that you're in good standing. Paul, we don't know the source to this. As I said, it is described as a past proven and reliable source speaking to the Hyattsville City Police Department detective squad. Yeah. TD says I read it and this sounds like BS. Robin also saying BS. So somebody's lying here. Somebody's lying big time. Senator Chris Van Hollen, he says explicitly it is the Trump administration that is indeed lying. Let's go over to CNN's TikTok page for this clip of Senator Chris Van Hollen from today.
Crying about Abrego Garcia. I asked the vice president if Abrego Garcia has not committed a crime, and the U.S. courts have found that he was illegally taken from the United States, and the government of El Salvador has no evidence that he was part of MS-13. Why is El Salvador continuing to hold him in CCOT? And his answer was that the Trump administration is paying El Salvador, the government of El Salvador, to keep him at CCOT. I pointed out that neither the government of El Salvador nor the Trump administration has presented evidence to support the claim that he's committed any kind of criminal acts. And so why not release Abrego Garcia today? And he said what President Bukele said the other day at the White House, which that El Salvador can't smuggle Mr. Abrego Garcia into the United States. And I said, I'm not asking him to smuggle Mr. Abrego Garcia into the United States. I'm simply asking him to open the door of CCOT and let this innocent man walk out. The Trump administration.
So again, what's interesting about this is what's interesting about everything that we kind of do in society, where everybody just lines up and takes their sides, and you know, the interesting thing here is everybody just goes, well, I'm on this side, so I'm going to argue for this, and I'm on that side, I'm going to argue for that. I don't. Who knows who's in a gang and who's not in the gang? It's not like when you join AARP and you get a card, right? And then there's a file on you, It's like, oh, this person's in AARP, when you join a gym membership, they give you one of those little key fobs and they give you're in the books. So I hear. No, I've never joined. I don't know. They won't let me join gyms. Not that I've ever tried. My point is this. It's hard to prove somebody's in a gang, and it's hard to prove that they're not. I don't really know what to think anymore. And I'm kind of throwing my hands up at this point in the story where I understand everybody's argument and Frank's argument about morally correct. And, Robin brought up before Stephen Miller lying about the SCOTUS decision. The SCOTUS decision, though, in there was a little point of like, I forget what the wording was exactly, but they were like, I don't know if we could do anything here. They sided with the lower district judge, but also recognized that there's not really much to enforce this situation, which is why I was really interested to hear when the district judge today was like, I will hold you in criminal contempt. I'm kind of like, well, all right, where do we go from here? Now it's getting interesting, and what I find, by the way, it must be a hell of a time to be a college, like a constitutional professor in college. Like every day you're just getting a new set of like, what's going to happen here? This must be a really thrilling time to be in university, just kind of like debating what's constitutional and what's not, I mean, you kind of saw Frank and I go at it the other night between the Alien and Sedition Act and the Constitution and what applies here. And, people today even are screaming about Senator Van Hollen violating the Logan Act. And, I mean, we are just every day in a new constitutional mini crisis of what are the rules? What do you do? What's just? What's going to win out? Because there's right and then there's what really happens and what's allowable by law and all that kind of stuff. And I don't really know, because you look at all the pressure that's being put on the administration now by the media, which, by the way, is why we have the media. Again, I didn't love Caitlin. Doesn't matter. I think it's Caitlin. I didn't love Caitlin's approach the other day and didn't think it was appropriate with the president of El Salvador there. But it's interesting how everybody just lines up on their side. Like, what if Senator Van Hollen is wrong? What if the evidence that we know about this guy today is like, yeah, maybe he's not a gang member anymore, but then we go to find out that, yeah, okay, but he was still doing this or this. He's still doing this and that. I mean, just think about it. Oh, by the way, because I don't want to talk about this stuff, but Letitia James now is being investigated for some like mortgage fraud thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like nobody is like squeaky clean. Like nobody in our current era of humanity is like can throw a stone, because everybody is living in glass houses. But again, going back to my point of the media pressure, which is what they're supposed to do. Media is supposed to question our leaders. That's why we have them. So I'm okay with questioning leadership. I just didn't think like the way they're going on and on, like this might be the case right now, but the more you investigate, you might find out something new. You might find out something this guy's not, like, just be on board of like, this guy's wonderful or great, or he's totally innocent. Like, how do we know? We're like 4 days into this and every day we're learning new shit. I mean, you look at this report, people say it's BS. Okay. But it's a report. It's, it's news. It's on the ground. Like, who knows what we're going to find out a week from now, So, it's an interesting time. And I hear this whole thing about proving things in court. But again, this president was elected with a mandate. People knew he was going to do this and they voted him in anyway. People of Hispanic descent, Latin descent, people who came here legally from El Salvador and Haiti and Puerto Rico and Mexico, and you name it. A lot of those people voted for this president, right? The world sort of changed. The amount of stories where illegal immigrants committed harsh and heinous crimes, and then seeing the victims, like, this is what the Republicans ran on, and they put these stories in the press and people voted for it. Right. And that's the fight now. It has little to do with Abrego Garcia and what the situation is. It has become a battle now. It's become like election 2.0 on what is going to happen. Because I'm sure the Trump administration might even be sitting there. If we're being really honest with each other, the Trump administration might be sitting there going, well, we messed up on this. But can they admit to it? Can they say we screwed up and we're going to get this guy back and then still go out to do everything that they're trying to do? I will say this. The videos have been piling up and piling up and piling up on the internet of people just getting snatched up on the street. We saw a little bit in the beginning of the administration. We saw, again, the media kind of doing their ride-alongs and reporting on it and then going, well, everybody was safe and everybody was good. Now we're starting to see more footage, though, of like just people minding their own business and getting snatched up on the street. Somebody leaving their house on their way to work in the morning and 5 cars pull up and all of a sudden they get yanked out of the car and, dragged into the precinct. I will say, I found this hilarious clip that I have to share with you from the New York Post. And it was, again, it's one of these videos where they snag a person, right? They pull this person in, but they went to a courthouse to do it, which I'd never really seen anything like that before, like going to a courthouse to, arrest an illegal immigrant. Let me put it on the screen for everybody here. There it is. Okay. So that part isn't funny, but the funny part to me, let me see here. Sorry, everybody. We're going to get this screen thing adjusted for sure. There we go. Okay. This is courtesy of the New York Post, so we thank them for that. But ICE agents, they cornered a Venezuelan man as he's going into court. Let's ignore that for comedy's sake. What I want you guys to watch in this particular instance is this very large, old, overweight gentleman. So not this guy, but you can see this old guy to the left side of the screen here. See this guy right here? And so these guys get in the elevator, right? Everybody piles in. And this old guy, this is what I first noticed. Look how he pushes his way to the back of the elevator. That's kind of ballsy. You're last in the elevator. You stand there. You just make sure your butt's in there, and it's like, all right, let's let the door close behind you. No, he pushed his way all the way back. Thought that was a little rude. Okay. So anyway, they go to the floor or wherever they're going in the courthouse, right? And then the old man is going to get out first, and then this other guy gets out, and then you can see. So there's an ICE agent. He stops the guy that he's trying to get, and when the young gentleman here realizes what's happening, he takes off. And then the funniest thing that I've seen all day today happens, which is he, like I said, takes off. Then they go and get him, and there's the big old man, and then whoop, whoop. I'm so sorry, but I hope that guy is okay. I hope he's okay. But he went down like the 10 pin in a 7-10 split. When the bowler just barely nicks the pin, and there's that little like whoa, and then the pin goes down. That is exactly what happens to this old guy. Let's watch it again. I'm sorry. I know. I wish I was a better person to watch him like little Nick, and then whoop. And he goes down like it's the end of the world. Oh my God, this poor old innocent man. Look at him just get clipped. And he stayed down the whole time. Now they're arresting this other dude, and that guy is just hurting on the floor. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah, nobody helped that guy. Nobody helped him out. No, I know this is terrible, but you can't admit to me, after the way he pushed himself into the cell, watch Watch him. Look at him push this poor old other man aside. Look at just to get that back wall position. We all like being on the back wall of the elevator, though, don't we? That's a good spot, comforting spot, isn't it? When you're in the middle of that elevator, you feel exposed. You feel exposed. It's like when you go to the restaurant and you're sitting with your back to the door. Have you ever noticed this? This is a man thing. It's a control freak thing. I've seen women who are control freaks do this. They position themselves like I do. When I sit down, I go, I want to see the front door. So if somebody's coming in here, I've never been in a restaurant where anybody's come into the restaurant and done anything to cause me any harm. But I'm also not taking the chance because I'm going to sit facing that front friggin' door and make sure that if something comes in, I know about it right away. Nobody wants to be turning their head and get caught off guard. And that's what that back wall is. That back wall feels safe. Oh, feels good. Oh, you get into that back wall and it's like, you know, it's just like snuggling with your favorite blankie when you're a kid, you know? All right, Mercury disagrees, says he did not push his way in. I thought there was a little push. Nah, a little bit. Pushed him a little bit. He pushed away to the back a little bit. Come on, look at it. He forces the other guy's hand to get out of the way. That's why he got knocked over. Maybe if he was a little nicer, if he would have been a hair ahead of where he was, they would have missed him. Look, he just barely. I'm sorry. I just think that's funny. I hope he was okay. But that made me laugh. If I felt like that, I would laugh at that video footage too. I would definitely do that. I would definitely do that. All right, I'm going to stop. I think that's funny. I just think that is so funny. Where's Frank? I don't like this name. I like watching people laugh. I mean, fall. It makes me laugh. I just think it's hilarious. In my mind, this guy got up. He was fine. Everything was okay. And he's got such a wonderful story to tell everybody. You know, that's the way I like to view it. If he was hurt, it's not as funny. I will give you that for sure. I will definitely give you that. Kudos once again to Fly NY for gifting another AOA membership. Again, go join the AOA members area. Link in the description of this episode, no matter if you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, or Spotify. It'll take you to the YouTube membership area. That's where we run our membership stuff through, is YouTube. And you can join for as little as $2.99. First one to get in there will get a free membership thanks to Fly NY. So make sure you join today. Join for as little as $2.99. You could join for higher if you want to support the show. Again, this just goes to pay for our virtual studio, the website, all the things all the costs of the podcast. It goes to offset that for us. So we appreciate all the support from all our members, from everybody like Aussie Annie and all the countless other members who have been members for 35 months. That is unbelievable. Kudos all around to Aussie Annie. See, that's a nice thing. Nobody's ever going to come off an elevator getting arrested and knock you over, Aussie Annie, because you did some good in your world. You supported this podcast. You didn't just force your way onto an elevator, try to get that delicate, wonderful, fresh back wall area. Yeah, Aussie Annie, more like Awesome Annie. That's what I'm talking about, Flying White. Thanks for that. Friday is not going to be members only. I think we did that only once. And then we thought, we'll just do it for everybody. Or I can't tell if we do it for the members and then we put it out for everybody after the fact. I'm not entirely sure. I don't really remember. But we're not going to do members only. Oh, look at Mercury at one-upping Aussie Annie. Where were you that first month, Annie? That's what Mercury just said by laying this down. Member for 36 months. Holy cow. Now let's watch. Let's wait and see, because when Annie announced that she was a member for 35 months, Robin clapped 3 times. Let's see if there's 3 claps for Mercury as well. We're going to find out who Robin fancies more, Aussie Annie or Mercury. Dead tie. Look at this. 3, dead tie. You know who's fair? It's Robin. The more Anthony becomes an asshole, the more fair Robin becomes. He's got 3 claps for everybody. That's what I like about Robin. You know, I also like how he throws in a Seinfeld reference every now and then. He dropped a little Van Buren boy thing just a little while ago here. The Van Buren boys have new recruits steal salads for them. You want to laugh? J Sab sent me a picture of herself trying to pick up old men in a restaurant today. Swear to God. Swear to God. I don't know if I'm allowed to share this photo. I think I am. I'm not sure. But J Sabs was licking her lips the whole 9 yards. Can I share this photo with the audience? If she was there with that old man and that old man went down like that, he would have at least gotten a hand job from J Sabs. I can tell you that right now. Just out of the kindness of her heart and the amount of gray hair on his head, she would have been like, come on over here. Let's make sure you're okay. Let's give you what I like to call the old J Sabs checkup. Stand by for that photo. That's it I think where we're headed with this Kilmer Abrego Garcia situation is constitutional crisis. I think a lot of court cases. And I think it's more the symbolism of what this is, where it's not maybe necessarily about this person, because both sides are fighting really hard how could they be so sure? You know what I mean? Like, let's be honest. If you're on the left and you're fighting and you're on the moral side and the due process side, if it turns out that this guy is like a huge piece of shit, you'll never hear the end of it from Republicans. You'll just never hear the end of it from Republicans. You know what I mean? And if the opposite is true and this guy is a Boy Scout and it turns out this was all wrongfully done and the administration is overreaching on their power and everything like that, and all the statements they've been making about dealing with foreign governments and only the president can do that, turns out to not hold up in the courts, the Republicans will never hear the end of it from the liberals and the Democrats. They'll just never hear the end of it. So I'm really curious to see where we're going to be. And although Frank and I have debated and everything, I'm kind of back on the let's see where this goes, because I do believe this is one of those stories where every day it's going to change based on what we learn throughout the process. And thank you, Tina, for this comment. I'm not saying that we don't have due process. I'm not saying that people should be just like thrown out of the country, because the other thing too is that the liberals have already started talking about, and to be fair, Trump hasn't said the right things as far as this goes, is would you deport citizens of the United States of America like this? And Trump was kind of like, well, we'd have to look at it, maybe. I heard that and I go, oh, no, nobody's going to stand for that. You would think nobody would stand for the immigration thing, but they are. But certainly nobody is going to stand for American citizens being tossed out of the country without due process. Like, you are going to lose everybody. And there was Trump going, well, I don't know. We'll take a look at it. We'll see. I'd like to, if they're bad people, I'd like to. Like, yeah, we all want to get rid of the bad people. The president of the United States shouldn't be like, yeah, maybe we'll see. Like, at some point, you got to know there is a line. There is a line to cross here. And I thought Trump crossed that line when he didn't stand up and say, no, every American citizen will face due process. Because there's no leg to stand on with that. With what he's doing with the illegal immigrants, the Aliens and Sedition Act is a leg to stand on. People may not agree with it. People may say the Constitution, is the law of the land, and that's and this is a constitutional thing, and that very well may be. And then you leave it up to a court to decide, and then ultimately the Supreme Court to decide. That's how our country is built, right? That's the way you go with that. But until you have those battles, the administration is going to lean on this precedent, and the precedent is there with I know it's ancient, and Frank made great arguments about why that act is bullshit, but it's there, and that's what they're using, so we'll see. This is going to set up to be a big long thing, and part of me thinks, hey, if you're the administration, let them have this one, go find this guy, bring him back, say you made a mistake, and move on. And then the other part of me thinks they're probably sitting there thinking, we can't do that. We have to just keep, like, when somebody's wrong in an argument and they just keep doubling down on it, hoping you get tired and they're like, all right, whatever. I think that's kind of maybe what their thing is. And I know Tina's making great points here. I know Tina, they admitted it was an administrative error, but again, all the reporting that has come since then has contradicted that. What's interesting is, depending on what media you look at, you won't hear certain things. This is where, and this is the other interesting thing about this is, it's one of those cases where if you're on the left or if you're on the right, you're looking at documents and you're reporting things and leaving some things out, which I hope you could appreciate this show, even though I can tell people are not too happy with my place on this. At least we're telling you everything. Like, I have no problem saying that process, and Frank's making good points, and all it's all true. It's all true. Yes, they did admit at first it was administrative error. Yes, they did say it was thin evidence. All that kind of stuff. Holds true. But again, I think it's so early to pick a side in this thing, and because you just never know. Again, look at Letitia James. Like that Letitia James thing. She was out there. People are gonna, you can't lie about the value of your shit. Now all of a sudden there's reports like, oh, well, she lied about this mortgage thing and it's fraud. And again, and I don't even know. That's not a topic on this show because we haven't had the time to go through and peel all the layers of that thing. Maybe we will some other time on a future episode. But it's like, it's hard because as everything changes so much, you got to kind of wait sometimes to take a take on this. Now, the SCOTUS thing is interesting. They lied about it. Robin wants me to say they lied about the 9-0 SCOTUS ruling. The 9-0 SCOTUS ruling sided with the lower court, but it did also say that there was it was soft. A lot of people described it yesterday as their ruling was soft. They left a little room and a little ambiguity for the Trump administration to continue the way that they're going. And by the way, this is an administration that doesn't seem like it's going to be scared off by the judicial branch. And I don't know how this is all going to play out. Because at the end of the day, I do believe in people, even the people, I'm going to word this carefully. At the end of the day, I do believe even those that want to see these ICE raids continue will step up and say the administration has gone too far if they go too far. I do believe that. I do believe all the people that are rah-rah cheering on the Trump administration throughout this whole process, if they do start really defying the courts or really, if it gets bad, I think you will see those same people recoil back from the administration. I do. I do think that that will happen. Let me see. Did I have one more thing on this? We had a lot of video footage on this episode. I think that might be it. By the way, did you guys notice if you take a screenshot of my background studio soundproofing here and you inverse it and put it upside down, you will see what is it, a pentagram? What's the devil thing? You'll see the devil giving you the middle finger. You'll see a cartoon version of the devil looking like it's giving you the middle finger. That's what you see. It's really interesting. Yeah, you got to have the time. You got to have the time of day. Lastly, Meghan Markle. We talked about Meghan Markle after I said that I would never talk about Meghan Markle again. And then, much like all the other stories, I had a revelation. I thought, why should I stop talking about Meghan Markle? She sucks, right? Fuck her. I just feel like I'm right on this one. And you guys calling me Alex Jones, Aunt Jones? Boy, that Aunt Jones is starting to take off in the comment section. Yeah, I thought about this, and I thought, why am I going to hold off on because some people on the internet said I was bullying her or called me sexist or racist or whatever. I mean, so I decided, you know what? It's back on. Back on. We're doing the whole thing with her. So you could blame Christella for this segment. But Christella put this in the Discord earlier today, which, by the way, I know I just plugged the membership area, and that's important. We all want you to be members. Completely free is the Discord, where our conversations continue all day long, whether the podcast is on or not. And so Christella, a lot of people have movements. Christella is leading the movement of there's no way Ant can stop talking about Meghan Markle. And Christella might be really right about this. There might be, how there's two sides to the Abrego Garcia thing? There's not two sides to, everybody is on one side fully believing that I really couldn't stop talking about her. But Christella shared this page with me, which is a Shop My page. I didn't know what this was. And I don't know what that says about me, because I do fancy myself a creator. I don't like the word influencer. I like podcast host, but I would say creator. We make things here. And we've done a lot of the stuff. We've had ads on the show. We've had influencer deals. We've had, the codes and all that shit. We've done it all. I've never quite seen Shop My. The Shop My theory has been around. I've seen other people use other things for this, but so Shop My is like hey, these are the products I like, and if you like them too, you could buy them, which I like. I like that kind of stuff. And a lot of the times, you get there's an affiliate link. It's like affiliate marketing. And again, we've done this too, where it's like, we'll put stuff up that we like, and if you buy it, we get a little kickback. We always tell people that, that's an important part of the thing. But we're, I always like to tell people, I run a middle-class podcast. Right? This ain't Joe Rogan, okay? We're not just out there raking in the millions. This is a poorly run business. It's a business, and a poorly run business at best. Where we do the memberships, we do the revenue shares. Occasionally we'll do sponsorship deals. We've slowed down on the sponsorship deals. We actually turned down some sponsorship deals just because timing's not been right. I go back and forth on sponsorship deals. I don't know if the audience really loves them. It's kind of important for us, But anyway, we've done things to earn money, but we're a middle-class podcast. First of all, we're middle-class people, all of us, okay? None of us are sitting here with a trust fund with millions just hanging around, okay? None of us inherited millions, all that kind of stuff. So we're just, average small business owners in the United States. So if we're going to try and earn some income here, that's part of our process. If you're sitting there with millions and millions and millions of dollars in the bank, and you're like, hey, click on my affiliate link so I could earn a few dollars, I just think that is so crazy. So crazy. From what I understand, I believe this is official. And if I'm wrong, I apologize to Meghan, and I will be happy to publicly apologize to her in the future. But again, Christella sent me this, and it's links to products. And by the way, not bad products. Okay? I hate to say this. And I know people are like, boo, I like it when he yells at Meghan Markle. This little Lego bunny thing, I think is brilliant. I almost, because I'm hosting Easter. I got my kids. I got my, cousins coming with their kids. And I'm like, oh, that might be cool to give them a little bunny to put together, keep the kids occupied. So I kind of like the page. Where my problem lies, though, is right up here at the top, where she's like, please note, some products may contain commissionable links. Really, Meghan? Really? Because the 100 million you scammed from Netflix wasn't enough? Is that what we're led to believe? Because the 20 million you stole from Spotify for a podcast that you couldn't produce, that nobody wanted to listen to, that the contract was terminated because it was such a disaster. You need to be like, hey, I have to make $7 on the bunny slippers. What the fuck? The fuck is this girl doing? What is she doing? You think she gets up in the mornings like, how's that affiliate link thing going? Did we earn? By the way, the reason why I don't like doing affiliate links is because you get like a $6 product and you're making like 75 cents off it. Is it worth that much to drive your audience? That's why I've turned down all these things. They'd be like, I'm not going to fucking put my audience through a fucking commercial read for 75 cents. I'll do it for a lot more than that. I don't have that much of a moral compass, but not for fucking 75 cents off a $6 product. Like, give me a break. But here she is, hawking bunny slippers for $7.50. Like, I've never seen anything like this. I've never, because you know what? When you get to a certain point, like Joe Rogan, for example, I did have this thought the other day about Joe Rogan, where it's kind of like Joe could probably have 3 less commercial breaks during his podcast. And I know that Joe is employing people, right? And he's running a comedy store and all this stuff. And okay, so there's an economics to it. I'm not saying he can't have any ads, but he has reached a point now where money means nothing to him. If I'm Joe Rogan and I go, do I have 6 commercial breaks during this show? Let's make it 2. We can still pay everybody and we'll give our listeners a better experience. Like, that's basically why. It's not like, oh, we don't. It's like, if you can give the audience a better experience, then do it. Now, I don't falter from a standpoint of like, hey, here's what I like. Because again, it's like fun, okay, bunny slippers, fun. But to be like, oh, there may be commissionable links. And then she has like stuff in her it's like, I'm at a loss for words. I don't like, you got it. Like, Prince Harry has got to be sitting there going, are you trying to squeeze $1.50 off of bunny slipper sales? Is that what you're doing? Because I thought we were going to have fun and make some bullshit jam and, dry cookies and shit like that. Now all of a sudden we're peddling bunny slippers and acting like, where's my $1.50 off the bunny slipper deal? I don't get it. By the way, these clothes are adorable. Like, who doesn't want to put their kid in like a little seersucker suit? Like, that shit is a pretty dress for a little girl. Adorable. Fucking doll. It's adorable. I understand if you want to do that, but be like, hey, this is what I'm into. Isn't it cool? Oh, I also got to make $1.50 off every fucking, like, what is wrong with you? Don't do the commission thing if that's the case. Just, there's nothing wrong with, hey, here's some cool shit I like. I don't get paid for it. Just, here's some cool shit. Like, I don't understand why that can't be her. I'm going to click on these bunny ears and see let me see what happens here. It opens up in a new window. They're $22 bunny slippers. Okay. Now I clicked on this fucking thing. Now next time I go buy something on Amazon, I'm going to give this idiot 50 cents. This is cute little pal thing, little pal set for the kids. This is adorable shit. I'm not gonna lie to you. If she did pick this, which I don't think she did, it's adorable stuff. Even if she did, I give her credit for this one. It's nice. It's cute. I don't know why you need the money. By the way, and you're probably sitting here going, "Oh, I'm listening to you on Spotify, asshole," and I've got like 3 ads. I can't control that. Like, we tell Spotify you can run ads, and then they put the ads in wherever they put them. And then we take what little revenue share. By the way, they're taking a majority of the money for that. If I could turn off all ads from this show, I would, but we don't, because again, we do have expenses. We do have to pay for the show. I'm telling you, we're not going to buy a mansion anytime soon off of the money that we're making on this show. It's just not the case. So I don't understand. And like, any chance, like, we were in a position where, okay, everybody could make a little bit more money on the podcast, Frankie, Janine, everybody, but we have to do this like shitty thing and I was just like, no, I don't want to do that. I'd rather just make the audience happy and hope that more of the money comes later. You know, I don't want them to sit to this shitty thing that I don't 100% believe in, or find that it's a good cause and make the product worse just because we got to make $1.50 off of everybody who clicks on the fucking thing, you know? And here comes Meghan, like, I don't give a shit. Like, how could I make $1.50 today? I don't get her whole fucking thing. I don't get it. And I don't think I ever will. And I'm going to leave you there at that. So there's the Meghan Markle thing. So Christella, I hope you're happy. I hope you got what you wanted, because you riled me up again. Yeah, it's like the Kardashian. I mean, it's like, okay, I'll tell you what. I love Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon, there's a reason why when you go to anthonyonair.com, there's a picture of me and Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon, Howard Stern, Greg Allman, Mavis Staples, there's Alan Alda, there's a bunch of people that I've gotten to, Cheech Marin, there's a bunch of people that I got to work with in my career and do things with. And you could search any of these people. There's clips of me with these people. The Howard Stern thing was massive for me. I will forever be indebted to Howard Stern for what he did for me. I will forever be indebted to Jimmy Fallon for showing up that day and hanging out with me when I was a lowly little radio personality. And the reason why his photo is still the main hero image that you see at anthonyonair.com is because I'm fucking grateful to him. But the other day I commented that I saw Ryan Seacrest doing a commercial for a game, an app game thing. And I'm like, does this fucking guy need this money? Like, do you really need? I look at that ad and I go, I didn't have a big opinion of Ryan Seacrest before this ad, and now I have an even worse opinion. And sure as shit, yesterday I start seeing ads. Jimmy Fallon is like pushing that game with the king thing. It's so fucking I don't know who's playing these games. It must be the same people looking for devil symbols and everything. I don't even know. But Jimmy Fallon's like, oh, the difference between this game and this game. Well, this game is this, and the king game, and the cool, and download the app. And I'm like, Jimmy, do you fucking need this money? Do you need this? Like, if I'm in Jimmy Fallon's inner circle, which I am not, I can message him, which I almost thought about going like, what the fuck are you doing? But I'm just like, you're the host of the Tonight Show. Do you need to do the fucking app commercial? You know, like, oh, sign up now and download the fucking app. I'm like, what are you doing? Those game ads are so fucking awful. They're so fucking stupid. I wonder if I did have that thought. Well, I think they all give them piece. I think all these celebrities now, they get a piece of everything. You got to give a piece if you're going to get a celebrity endorsement. I mean, if you're going to pay Jimmy Fallon, if you're going to pay Ryan Seacrest, you're paying through the nose. And some of these businesses can't pay that much. So they'll be like, all right, we'll give you X amount in dollars. And then you take X amount of the company too. That's how most of these deals are structured. So if he didn't come up with it, he probably, whatever. And Jimmy's an active guy too. Like he does want to record and put out albums. He does want to write children's books. He's one of those guys that he's the fucking Energizer Bunny. I'm telling you, when I was with him, I was amazed at how he was just like, boom, boom, here, there, right. You want to make a joke? Great. You want me to sing a little bit? Oh, I could do this. I could do that. He's an unbelievable talent. He really is. I respect him so much, but the fucking video game ad reads, oh my God. Like, I don't know what these fucking people are doing. Like, somebody's got to be in Ryan Seacrest's circle going, you don't even need this money. You're never going to spend all the money you've made off the Kardashians and Wheel of Fortune now. Why? What are you doing? You don't need to overexpose yourself this fucking much. You know? Maybe. I don't know. Anything is possible. I wouldn't put anything past anybody. But I hate those stupid ads. I never like them when you see the little King cartoon guy and he's like, ugh, you know, and they're my kids play all those games. And they all sit through one ad worse than the next. And then there's ads where like you get to play the game while it's an ad. And my daughter just always like, what is this? And she just starts playing it, and then she clicks it and it's like 500 windows open and there's 10,000 viruses on the Kindle now. The whole fucking thing is annoying. So I don't understand these celebrities that are just like fucking doing these ad reads. If we can get Emily Ratajkowski to criticize those people, that'd be great. Why don't you stay away from Gayle King for 5 minutes, Emily, and go put your fucking anger towards somebody who deserves it, like Seacrest and these people just hawking these shitty apps that track your every move and sell your information. All right, that's it. Enjoy your Thirsty Thursday. On Friday, 420 show. We're celebrating. Yes, it'll be 418. But join us for the 420 show this Friday, 418, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will see you guys then.
Show me potato salad.
Maybe we should go now.
Go ahead.